Okay. Now it's a minute instead of a second.
That's fine. So does this go on TV too, or is it like live right now, or is it going to podcasts?
It'll be going on Facebook Live and also on podcast. Pod Live, the show will be. Then it goes into Fox 28, and they take segments and this whole thing is just
blossomed into craziness from upstairs to down here to all of these screens and stuff.
House to Home with Clyde Hosey is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksOnline.com, which is solely responsible for its content. Ask Clyde a question, recommend a guest, and hear this program again online anytime at SpokaneTalksOnline.com. House to Home is brought to you each week by Avista and Rada Paint. You can turn your house into a home. We're here to help. Thanks for listening to Spokane Talks Online.
And welcome again to House to Home. I'm Clyde Hosey, your host. I have a special guest with me today, and Tim Magney has been here many a times. And Tim, thank you for coming. It's always
welcome,
a joy.
Good to see you.
Tim and I were saying, well, what should we talk about? And both of us kind of look at each other and says, well, where do we stop and where do we end? It's one or the. There's no end of subjects that we can talk about.
Exactly.
And those of you that have joined us here today. Wilbur Ellis has been one of the leader in our area, and Tim's been involved for over 30 years.
Over 30 years now, yes, Clyde.
Yeah, I didn't know you were getting that old.
Oh, can't you tell?
Yeah,
can't you tell?
I can tell. Well, Ken accuses me of being real old, but really I'm not.
Okay.
Anyway, bottom line is that you have been around, and you are known in the business as the expert, even like for the golf course people, the bug people. I mean, everybody goes to Tim Magney. No one says anything else except Tim. And you immediately know who it is. So
thank you, Clyde.
So I say it with so much respect.
Yeah.
And I said, Tim, we have some issues to take care of this time of the year. We're heading into summertime, and green grasses are supposed to be like golf courses. People are actually paying to go play golf on a green grass. Did you know that?
Absolutely, they do. They do.
Well, Tim, how do you get a green grass this time of the year?
Well,
or do you?
Well, right now it's a struggle, Clyde. We don't have Mother Nature's not giving us any sunshine. We've kind of came out of spring really wet and cool. Most of our fertilizers have kind of stopped, but then guess what? Everybody wants to water like it's summertime right now. So we're overwatering, not using the right fertilizers, and our lawns are struggling.
Well, I'm going to first start this whole process. I've told everybody who's listening here today, I've said before, when you're doing your green grass, and thank you, Vinny, for that picture. That looks good. If you leave it up. Good. To have a green grass like that, you have to understand what your root system is doing, what your sprinkler system is doing, and what it's doing overall. When did you fertilize? I always say fertilize every holiday of the calendar. July the 4th, and you can say Easter, and you can say Memorial Day, and you can just write down there's 5 times a year you should be fertilizing, right, Tim?
Absolutely. Our grass here is blue and ryegrass dominant. Those want 5 fertilizers a year.
Yeah. And that green grass you were looking at there, that is, I can just tell right now, that is Kentucky Blue, right?
You bet it was.
Okay.
Yep.
So you brought along a couple things that you should first do. So if you haven't fertilized, fertilize.
Fertilize.
But first, understand what your grass is doing. And you brought this tool along. And
I brought what's called a soil probe. Literally, I can punch this into the ground. Does a few things really nicely for me. One, tells me how deep the watering is.
Good point.
Is it a ½ inch deep, or is it really deep? Also, it lets me know how long the roots are. Are our roots even in the water or not in the water? So it tells me a few things. It also lets me know whether there's thatch in the lawn, and that also brings up a lot of issues too. But this is really good for monitoring moisture and telling me what the roots of the grass look like and what the soil looks like. Is it pure sand? Is it full of rocks?
Right.
What do we got there to deal with?
Well, people are going to say, well, I got my sprinkler system on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean anything, does it?
Not at all. Not at all. Because
Sorry, folks.
One, I go out there all the time and they go, my sprinklers run everywhere. I see them go.
Yeah.
I poke my soil probe in the ground and it's just like a desert. It is dry as can be. So it might be hitting that spot, but just barely enough. Tuna can, little dog food can, something on the ground.
Listen to Tim now. He's telling you the secret to this thing.
you put that out before you irrigate, you watch the water hit it, and if it doesn't fill that up,
usually 1 inch.
1 inch
per
if
setting.
It doesn't put an inch in per setting, then you're not getting enough water.
Okay. You know, folks, that whole trick happened a long time ago.
I didn't make that up at all. That was way before my time.
I didn't either. You know, I was told that,
right.
50 years ago.
Right.
The tuna can, 1 inch, mark it. When it fills to that 1 inch mark, turn it off.
Then you've watered properly.
You know, I want to share with you a very quick personal story. Way back when I was young, my dad would get the big Rainbird sprinkler out and the old swish, swish, swish. And he would say, go out and water that lawn. And I says, so, Dad, how much water? He says, well, just do it. And he says, I'll tell you when to turn it off. And I says, but how do you know when to turn it on? He says, well, you know what? When the grass begins to look like it that needs water,
turn it on.
Oh, that was the whole thing.
Yep.
And anymore, we're lazy.
Oh, we've all got sprinkler systems for the most part, right?
Yeah, right. But if we look at our grass, it'll actually tell you when
bet.
it needs. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, and I love to do it with sunglasses on too, because it really gives you that part where it's turning gray.
Yeah.
Means it's a little bit drought stressed. Put the water to it, and it recovers beautifully. If it turns too brown, then it's not going to recover.
Right.
But you're right. He knew. He looked out. He said, it looks like it needs it. I give it a dose of water. Now we set our sprinkler systems, and we just let them be. Too many people set them in the spring and turn them off in the fall and don't change the settings.
Now, what he's saying is that you have to manage your water that you're using.
Based on what's going on with Mother Nature.
Right, and in the summertime, you may bump it up 20%, 30%.
Right.
Who knows?
Who knows?
You, the homeowner, knows how much water it's going to take. And you have to understand what your bill that you're paying for the water, what the needs are going to be.
And what it's really going for, too.
So don't rely on somebody else who mows your lawn to tell you, oh, it needs more water. Look at it yourself.
Dig into it a little bit. If you don't have a soil probe, a shovel, and bend it over and look at the soil. Look at how wet it is. Know whether you're getting it.
Identify that. That is real important in the amount of water. Adjust your sprinkler system. There's percentages on money anymore, folks. Or just watch what is taking place.
There's an app for sprinkler systems now that can manage those things. It's really crazy. But the key is don't just set it like it's summertime and then just go with that. Because
exactly.
Right now what we're seeing is a tremendous amount of disease, a tremendous amount of bugs in the soil. I mean, if you've got black birds all over your yard, you got bugs.
Oh, wait a minute.
And they're everywhere.
I had somebody call me and said, well, you know, the lawn must be healthy. The birds just love our lawn.
Yeah, because you have those big leather jacket crane fly larvae in your lawn.
Okay, there's the answer. That's why the birds are all there, right?
You know that big flying thing that looks like a big mosquito? That is a crane fly adult, and they lay those eggs, and then they hatch, and then that's what they're all chasing after.
Okay, so
you got a lot of those. You better do something about it.
Right. So that means that if you have a bunch of the blackbird, I call them blackbirds, right?
Yep. The little starlings.
Starlings, yeah. On your lawn, it isn't because you just have a nice lawn. It's because you got a lot of bugs in it.
You got a lot of bugs in it.
So you need to talk to your person who's applying the spray. Get rid of the.
Yep. Get rid of the crane fly.
Crane fly. Don't write that down. Crane fly. That's what's going on right now.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now adjust your water according to the season and according to your soil conditions.
Yep.
Understand what they are. Take a moment and understand that. Now,
absolutely.
Every soil condition in every block changes, right?
Yes, it does. And especially in Spokane, we have the north side, which is really sandy, the south hill, which is full of clay at the midsection, and the valley is a valley rock.
Right.
Everyone needs to be treated a little bit differently.
Well, I get a kick out of it. I've even gone out to the golf courses in certain areas and said, hey, do you mind, just give me a sec. How do you water around here? How do you keep a green grass? Folks, you know, you're actually paying to go enjoy their green grass. Why don't you ask them how they maintain their grass in your area?
Right.
And I say that's a free information, right?
They do a great job of it.
Because they ask that question, just what you're saying here. Now, if we underwater it, we can tell by the green. If we overwater it,
we can tell by the disease.
By the disease.
Yes.
Now,
so is your yard yellow today and you fertilized? More than likely you've created a disease by overwatering it. So what's the best recommendation there? Turn the dang water off for a couple of days, let it dry out a little bit, and then start over with a lesser water program.
And if you got low areas, you got a 208 drain.
You've got to do different things there.
You've got to adjust them accordingly. Because you cannot water the north side of your lawn the north side of your yard
Yep.
the same as the south.
Absolutely not.
Yet they're totally different. The amount of sun, the amount of wind, is it next to the curb?
Do I got a tree? Do I got full sun? What do I
Right.
got?
All of those things really pertain
Yep.
and really come into this. Well, Tim, I know we've been talking about the grass. Also, you need to be adjusting the lawnmower height coming into the summer.
You bet. I want that. Bluegrass wants to be mowed at about 3 inches high. Because we like golf courses, we should go play on them, but when we get home, we should mow it 3 inches high. One, it does a great job of shading, helps to keep itself cool. It's the best way to have your lawn look, and bluegrasses and rye look dynamite at 3 inches.
Okay.
They can't handle that really short mow height and look good all summer long.
So raise it up.
Raise it up.
It'll take less time to mow the lawn that way.
It looks better. Just
It looks
flat
better.
out looks better.
Catch the clippings.
It grows better. If I can mulch, I'm mulching.
Okay, so there's the expert. If you can mulch, again, it's going to
Mulch.
save.
Regenerates the nutrient load right back into them, has no bearing on thatch. It's perfect to do. Mulch if you can.
You know, folks, when it comes to your lawn, we spend a lot of money to buy fertilizer. We go golfing. We spend a lot of money to be on the green grass.
Right.
Let's understand how it's all taking place. And I
Absolutely.
hope some of these tips here so far today. And
Will
we're going to
help.
be, after the break, we want to come back and share with you folks about the plant material. But right now, the lawn is the most important because green grass.
Yep.
I was going to bring my sample, but I said everybody knows what green grass is.
Exactly.
It all is, when it's green,
It
it's
is.
green. And I need to understand it this time of the year. You need
Absolutely.
to adjust your system accordingly. So, with that being said, Tim, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
They're going to get another piece of paper so they can make some notes from that. We're going to be right on back. I'm Clyde Hosey. Tim Magney will be coming back on House to Home. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm weather forecaster and assignment anchor at Spokane Talks Online, Colin Pittman, and I am honored to be the host of the new program, Spokane's Youth Spotlight, brought to you by Spokane Talks Online and the Spokesman Review, where we are interviewing and getting to know outstanding youth in our community each month. If you'd like to nominate someone in our community that you think should be recognized, that is doing something great here in the region or has an amazing story, visit SpokaneTalksOnline.com or Spokesman.com and look under Youth Spotlight to nominate. And be sure to tune in each month as we find the best in the Inland Northwest.
Hi, I'm Larry Myers, owner of River Ridge Hardware. Welcome to our garden center here on the corner of Garland and Driscoll. We have fresh plants that come in weekly from all of our local growers. We can make your garden look like our garden. Here at River Ridge, we've been here 30 years. We're your full-service neighborhood hardware store. This is our sprinkler aisle where my knowledgeable staff will help you put together your sprinkler system so it will make your yard lush green for the spring and summer. This is River Ridge Hardware's rental center where we provide a multitude of equipment for rent for the do-it-yourselfer. Next time you're working on your home or yard this spring and summer, stop by, say hi, and we'll help you get the project done.
See you tomorrow night, and thanks again for taking care of the painting.
I got this.
Bye.
Weekends are made for painting. Let the experts at Rada Paint take care of you.
Hi. This looks amazing.
Rada Paint, over 80 years of quality, tradition, and trust. Find it in every can.
Welcome back. I'm Clyde Hosey, landscape architect with House to Home, and we're having a great conversation. My very good friend, Tim Magney, Wilbur Ellis.
Thanks, Clyde.
Tim, again, if you didn't join us in the beginning, he's the expert of yards, shrubs, bugs, anything like that. You've brought some tools. You were showing how to test your ground, understand how the watering system worked. You also had a couple other fascinating little things. Let's not overlook these. And there's even some new things happening in the industry, I understand.
Yeah, we can talk about those real quick, too. One, I just brought a little pH meter. And the reason that I want to know what my pH in my soil is because too high a pH means that my fertilizers don't work very well. too low a pH means that they also don't work well. So if I've got a pH range below 6, I got to put lime on, and I'm worried about that. If I'm above 7.5 by the test, I want to put sulfur on to lower my pH. Because if I don't do that, then I fertilize, and the fertilizer doesn't work.
It isn't because it was bad fertilizer. It's because you had a
Exactly.
bad situation going on.
You have bad soil or a pH issue on
Right.
the soil.
Right.
So we need to change that. We need to put lime or sulfur on there to change that. Most of our soils here are very high in pH.
Yes.
On the coast, they're very low.
Right.
But we do want to know what that is, because sometimes it'll trick us, and we need to know what that is.
And we can get
I
that.
got this at Northwest Seed and Pet today.
Okay, so that's current.
Current today.
There you
The
go.
other thing I brought was I need to know sometimes, especially spring and into the midsummer,
a
what's
good point.
the temperature of the ground? Because there's a lot of talk about, I want you to do this at 55 degrees.
Right.
Ground temperature, not air temperature. So we need to know what the ground temperature is, and we check that. We check this about 4 inches deep into the soil. This one here is about 2 to 3 inches deep in the soil.
Well, one of the
and
things.
it's really important to know.
Yeah, well, I was going to say is that, everybody says, well, I can't plant my garden until they say there's snow off Micah Peak. And that's fine, but
Why not just test the soil temperature and know whether you can do that or not?
you may be in a warm belt or a
Yeah.
cold belt. I mean, who knows?
Right. Could be different all the way
So,
around. So,
and
pretty interesting.
It is an interesting part. They're cheap items that you can buy and become very educated. And everybody say,
Right.
gee, how smart you are.
Right. 3 little tools, and I can at least start a good plan.
There you go. And I think really the planning is so important. And I want to share with you that we've been talking, the first part of the program was about watering of our lawns. But this same theory and a lot of these practices flow over into the shrub bed.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'm going to be honest with you, Tim, I've seen so much poor practices over the years. Spokane and the immediate area with the aquifer, we have wasted more water than
we'll ever know.
we'll ever know is exactly right. And we've been blessed that we've got a lot more there, but let's start looking what we're doing.
Right.
Shrubs, what do you fill us in like you did
one
on
of the
lawn.
things is you got to have a drip system is the key to that. Why water the entire shrub bed when all you need to do is water that plant?
Well, why have more weeds?
And exactly, and I'm creating a weed base. The other thing is you talked and you touched on this earlier. Why do I want to water the same on one side of the yard or the other? Why would I want to water the shrubs the same as I'm watering my lawn? I don't want to. I don't need to do that. With one zone, I can water my entire shrub beds with a drip system and not even worry about it. And it's key to just that plant.
And the one thing about it's like this microphone. It puts the water right at the base of this microphone.
Yep.
It doesn't put it out here or out here or out there. It puts it right here. And where's the root system? Right here.
there.
And
Exactly.
so you have to understand. Again, I haven't heard a lot of people that like to waste money. And if they do, they don't know what they're faced with. But the issue is you can control it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can have a better
Absolutely.
result. Because why did you plant this beautiful shrub, this Mike? Well, it's an ugly Mike. But anyway, the bottom line is that we did it for some beauty.
Right.
And the issue is, how do we keep it alive? And the fertilization and the watering is so important.
Very
now,
important.
I believe your drip system is good as long as you keep an eye on things. Don't just say, I put it in the ground and it's there.
Right. You got to check those emitters and make sure that they're still putting out water.
Listen to Tim.
You put 2 or 3 of them around a plant. Is one of them not working? Are there 3 of them not working?
Understand.
Look, observe. I mean, when you pop up your sprinklers, you watch them run around. Why wouldn't you watch the drippers run as
Exactly.
well? Same kind of concept. You got to pay attention to those things.
Well, in some of the cases that older plants have been in the ground for a long period of time, you can back those off. They've got the
right.
roots down way deep.
Way down.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they will, their roots will grab those emitter lines and stuff. So you got to check that part of it
Yeah.
as well. So they will ruin that going forward as well. Another neat thing that they're doing, and you and I touched on this during the break, is that we're starting to use more wetting agents in lawns to help keep the water where it belongs.
Yep.
And in the past, that was only for golf courses because it was extremely expensive. Well, through technology and everything that we've done, they've been able to bring that down to a price that makes sense. And some of the lawn care guys in Spokane now and other regions are starting to use these because we don't want those too much water going out. We can reduce 20 to 40% of our water use with these.
Yep.
We can keep water where we want it. And it also makes everything we put on that lawn better. So the fertilizer's better, the herbicides we put on to kill weeds are better, our pre-emergents are better. Everything is because it's in a very nice little space there.
Well, Tim, what you're kind of saying, they're all kind of connected one direction
Absolutely.
or the other. Because, again, what Tim is saying is that if you can take and put the drip system around the base of this plant, you can spray the weeds out here. This can keep down, again, the amount of moisture that's just evaporating.
Being lost, right.
It's being lost. And then your lawn out here in front of us, out here, that's going to be watered there. Don't try to water from that lawn head back here to the shrub because it's next to the house.
Exactly.
And you're just ruining the paint. I mean, it just is all connected, folks.
Exactly.
Understand what you're doing.
Yes.
Now,
the other thing about drip that we really like too is most plants in the foliage don't like overhead watering. They don't like the sprinklers hitting them because now we're going to create disease and all types of things. If it's down in the root base, the roots get it, the plant grows really well, everything about it is very healthy.
can I ask this next question?
Yeah.
We just got a few more minutes. I want to talk about bugs this time of the year. We got 3 minutes.
3 minutes. A lot of aphids out there right now on most of our plant material. They love this cool weather. They can't stand it when it's really hot, but boy, the aphids on your roses, on your maples. I saw a guy came in today with cherry leaves. They were just gnarled up because they were just full of it. Everything has got aphids right now that we're seeing around the landscapes for sure.
So if you don't have a system in place with your spray company, provider,
you should look and see if you've got leaves that are all curled up and that kind of thing.
what you're saying is do a checklist, walk around your yard,
Yep.
look at everything. The other night I noticed some yellow spots on roses.
Oh, absolutely. They're
What
full
is
of
that?
disease. There's a rose mosaic disease. So it happens because of the cool temperatures, cool at night, a lot of humidity. We're getting disease on those. We're seeing that in all those same plants that normally get it, they've got disease as well.
Only thing that's doing well now is the weeds.
Oh, the weeds are loving life right now. Oh, yes. I mean, cool temperatures, good moisture, they're having a great time.
Any other
everywhere.
quick checks? Any item you want to point out this time of the year?
You know, part of what you just said, don't just go out after the spray company's been there to inspect your property. Go out there regularly and
Yep.
see what looks out of place, see what looks not right. Ask the questions. I mean, there is a lot of good places to ask questions of or have somebody come out and give
Sure.
you some advice. So,
Well, one of the other things that I'm a big believer in, and I know we just 1 minute left, but I want to talk about is a good dormant spray in your yard in the fall is one of the better things that could ever be done. Am I right?
oh, yes. Dormant, spring, or fall, excellent. Fall fertilizers, best out there.
Pre-emergence for the weeds.
Pre-emergence for weeds, spring, gotta have it.
Understand your sprinkler system. Fertilize this time of the year.
Yep.
And the plant
5
material.
times a year. You said it best.
Okay, plant material. Fertilize what? Once, twice?
Once a year. A lot of times we'll do it in the fall. It'll just sit there and be
Osmocote?
perfect. Yep.
Slow
Anything with
release.
Slow release.
Slow
Beautiful
release.
for it.
That's the thing. Slow release fertilizer.
Saving us a lot of time and money.
You bet. Ring spots not out there as much as it used to be. Fairy ring.
Hit and miss.
Hit and miss.
Hit and
So
miss.
there's still some of that. Reason I
Again,
asked.
we could talk for about 6 hours right here, Clyde. There's a lot of things to talk about.
Well, we all need to take a break,
do.
and we're right at the end. And I say, Tim, thank you for coming
You
in
bet.
again.
Thanks, Clyde.
It's summertime, folks. Understand your yard. Understand what's going on. Tim said it. Go out and check your yard. Walk around. Make a note. Call your provider of services that's being done. If you don't know somebody, call Wilbur Ellis.
Somebody's out there that
There's
that
somebody
wants to
out
be
there,
in the neighborhood.
you
yeah.
know, and you're, Northwest.
Northwest Seed and Pet. We've got a whole list of authorized dealers that does a great job for us, and they answer a lot of questions to have all of our products there.
Very good. Tim, thank you.
Thanks, Clyde.
Have a good summer, I hope.
Oh, we'll do. You too.
I will do all the same. And same to you folks. You folks have a good summer. We'll see you next time on House to Home. Enjoy yourself.
House to Home with Clyde Hosey is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksOnline.com, which is solely responsible for its content. Ask Clyde a question, recommend a guest, and hear this program again online anytime at SpokaneTalksOnline.com. House to Home is brought to you each week by Avista and Rada Paint. You can turn your house into a home. We're here to help. Thanks for listening to Spokane Talks Online.